Hi everyone, welcome. And today, as you know, we are going to talk about cognitive fatigue. And I think because I'm talking about cognitive fatigue uh, in pertaining to highly sensitive people, let's first clarify what it means to be a highly sensitive person. I'm not talking about highly emotional person. I'm talking about highly sensitive person and also people with heightened awareness, right? When we talk about people with heightened awareness and when I also talk about highly sensitive people, both are different, right? But they have increased sensitivity to sensory input, right? We work with senses. We have sensory inputs from outside, emotional stimuli, and from social environments. And this heightened sensitivity manifests in different ways. It can manifest in deep capacity for empathy, or it could also manifest as a strong appreciation for something, for beauty, for art, and a tendency to become easily overwhelmed by busy and chaotic environments is called cognitive fatigue. And before I talk about it, a bit like before I talk about it even further, I also want to clarify that being a highly sensitive person is not a disorder. It's not a flaw. It's just a trait. It affects about 15 to 20% of the population, but it doesn't mean that it is something negative. It comes with its own set of challenges, yes, and one of the most significant uh, challenges uh, is cognitive fatigue. And cognitive fatigue is also sometimes known as mental fatigue. It's a state of, mental exhaustion, and it can make it, it can make it difficult to focus, to process information, or even, to perform tasks that require cognitive effort. And for highly sensitive people, cognitive fatigue can occur more frequently and intensely due to the constant processing of high levels of sensory input and emotional data. And highly sensitive people and also people with heightened awareness and empaths as well, they are more attuned to, a lot of things. Could be subtle changes in their environment, sounds, lights, textures, somebody's behavior, somebody's mood, what somebody else is feeling. And it can be beautiful. It can be a beautiful way to experience the world. It also means that their brains are working overtime to process all this information. This constant processing can lead to sensory overload or sensory fatigue or cognitive fatigue. Again, sensory fatigue and cognitive fatigue are both different, but one leads to the other. Sensory overload will lead to cognitive fatigue eventually, and I have experienced that. And let me also talk about emotional overload because highly sensitive people tend to feel emotions deeply, both their own and those of others. And if you're an empath, you can, actually feel a lot. And this heightened emotional awareness means that you can become easily drained by emotionally charged situations or by taking on the emotional weight of others. And this emotional labor can significantly contribute to mental exhaustion, right? So, this is one kind of overload, emotional overload. And now let me also talk about social overload because social interactions can be specifically draining for highly sensitive people. I don't know about other highly sensitive people, but I know a lot of introverts who are sensitive and introverts who have heightened awareness. Social interactions are not like something to have fun with. Navigating social cues, engaging in small talk, managing group dynamics, it requires a lot of cognitive energy. And after socializing, highly sensitive people, like most of them, they may need more time to recharge compared to non-HSPs. And when I say non-HSPs, it doesn't mean that other people do not sense things, other people are not sensitive. everybody is sensitive to some I mean, to like, we all are sensitive, but highly sensitive people, it's like, there's a lot actually, the nervous system, and there are many, like, many aspects. It's like this whole, it's a lot actually if you want to learn about it. And now that I told you about the link between high sensitivity and cognitive fatigue, let me also talk about the strategies I have used. And if you're a highly sensitive person or an empath or someone with heightened awareness, you can also use these strategies to manage this cognitive fatigue, emotional fatigue, right? And thrive. So the first thing that has always worked for me is creating a calming environment. Wherever you are living, design your living and working spaces. If you are working in an office, you can request. If you're working from home, you can definitely do it. So design your living and working spaces to minimize sensory overload. This might mean using noise cancelling headphones, reducing clutter, and using soft lighting. So that's my first advice. And the second one I would say is you need to set boundaries. Learn to say no and prioritize your well being. It is okay to decline social invitations or step away from emotionally charged situations to protect your energy. In my last uh, podcast episode, I had this conversation with Evdoxia, and we were talking about, like, she knew that I was on digital detox. I went on digital detox for 16 days, and during that hiatus, like, I learned a lot of things about myself, and it usually happens every time I go on a detox. I learn new things about myself and many other things. And the reason I did that was because I realized that and I talked about it in that episode also, that I realized that I come first. And at the end of the day, even if I have to, do my work, I have to do my office work, I have to do household chores, I have to interact with others. But at the end of the day, I have to live with myself. Right. So it's not like if I take digital detox for 16 days, the world is going to end. Right. It's not like that. So that you need to keep in mind as a highly sensitive person or as an empath or person with heightened awareness. You need to keep that in mind. Even for introverts, I would say learn to say no. I'm also an introvert, and yeah, sometimes it's really hard to explain why. Like, it's very easy to say you're an introvert, but it goes way deeper than that. So it's okay to decline social invitations or step away from emotionally charged situations to protect your energy. And then another thing that has really worked for me is practicing mindfulness and meditation on a regular basis. Mindfulness practices can help you ground yourself and reduce the mental clutter, mental chatter that contributes to, cognitive fatigue. Even a few minutes of deep breathing or meditation can make a big difference. You don't have to sit for 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Find 5 minutes maybe or 10 minutes. That's enough. And then schedule your downtime. Schedule downtime on a regular basis. Make sure you have regular breaks throughout your day to decompress. This could be, as simple as taking a short walk in nature. And if you can't, just take a short walk, right? Reading a book, or even listening to calm music, or doing something you really enjoy doing, could be painting, coloring, writing. Schedule downtime for yourself. And then engage in creative outlets. Many highly sensitive people find solace in creative activities like painting, writing, playing music. These activities can be therapeutic and they provide a positive outlet for emotional expression. So engage in creative outlets, and one thing will not work for everybody. So see what works for you, and, uh, you know, make it a part of your daily schedule, I would say. And lastly, if you are in a place where you just don't know like how to function, like if it's like too much cognitive overload, seek support. Do not shy away from seeking support. Connect with other highly sensitive people, connect with other empaths, join sport groups. If you can't find any sport, if you can't find any support group in your community, there are many online forums where you can share experiences and coping strategies. Sometimes, just knowing you're not alone can be incredibly validating. So seek support, I would say. And before I wrap up today's episode, I want to emphasize that being a highly sensitive person, or being an introvert, or being an empath, or being a person with heightened awareness is a gift. Yes, it comes with its own challenges like cognitive fatigue. It also brings with it a deep capacity for creativity, for connection, for empathy, for feeling deeply. And if you can understand and honor your sensitivity, you can honor your gifts, I would say, you can navigate the world in a way that feels, nourishing and fulfilling. So thank you so much for joining me today for this episode. I really wanted to talk about this topic. And I hope this episode has shed some light on the experiences of introverts or highly sensitive people, and empaths also, and provided some useful strategies for managing cognitive fatigue. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share, like, and leave a comment. It really helps others find the show. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.